Hello there, and welcome to the first episode of the number one movie podcast in the world, Socks on Movies. For the tens of listeners that remember the Socks on name, there was an original podcast back during quarantine, back in 2020, where me and two of our friends, it was Zach and Conrad, for those who remember, we shot the shit and talked about whatever. It was a fun little um, quarantine activity to do. Um, but now there's a new podcast under the umbrella. Me and my co-host here, Jack, we decided to make a movie podcast, and in lack of coming up with a good name, we decided to bring back Socks On. So we are Socks On Movies. And before we get into what this show is or is going to be, figured good time to introduce ourselves. So first, I'm going to throw it to my co-host Jack.
Yep. So, name subject to change. I think on Socks On podcast. We haven't come up with anything yet.
Potential change. You guys, if you're listening, you can write in new names. We will change it if it's good.
Only if it's good. Only if it's good. But yeah, like Scrizzy said, I'm Jack, one of the co-hosts. I'm an avid movie fan. Been in love with movies ever since I was a kid, and the obsession has only grown into my adulthood here. And what better way to continue that love of movies going is just talking about it with friends in a recorded podcast environment, because the world needs more podcasts. So here we are, just doing our service.
I was thinking recently the world needs more podcasts. So that I'm
Just doing
glad
our
you
part.
brought I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, so I'm Matt. I live in New York, so everyone who's not in New York and can't watch as many movies as me should be jealous. No, I work in like film and television. I work in the industry. I was a production assistant for many years. I still work in the industry, mostly editing currently. I have a YouTube channel. For this first episode, I do think we'll be making a YouTube channel for this series, but I'll be linking my channel with this one to kind of try to bring some people in. Hopefully, you like my work, but I make video essays on there. Um, Matt Scrizzy on YouTube, a bunch of video essays, and I love talking about movies, clearly, because I make videos about them. But I thought this would be a easier way to talk about other movies, because I'm really bad at making videos consistently. I have too many other side projects. I have one coming up soon that hopefully I can announce soon. But soon, also, hopefully by the time this is out, but we'll see, my short film that I made will be on there, so watch that. But yeah, hopefully, maybe you know me from YouTube. If not, I work in the film industry, but I love movies. I'm obsessed with them, and I love talking about them. So we figured, what a better way. And so the structure that for now we're considering is maybe he's talking about a movie a week, something like that. Maybe some new releases. We're going to talk about some old releases. We're kind of going to throw it back and forth. But we thought what would be a better to kind of get to know us would be for us to talk about our Letterbox top four, because obviously Letterbox, best app in the world. Follow both of us at Letterbox. I'll link it down below. Um, but we're just gonna talk about our top four movies that we have on there, because I think that's a good way to get to know us, know our tastes a little bit. We can talk about kind of how we even decided like what to put on there too, but just the kind of overall way to talk about a bunch of movies, all that stuff. So this will be kind of a different episode, but a fun one. And now I'm going to throw it over to you, Jack, and let's hear about your first one. I don't know if you changed yours at all or not. I didn't look, so I'm excited to hear what you have.
Yeah. So I think we'll probably each do a couple that maybe aren't currently in our top four, but just to like spice it up and give some variety to the type of films we're going to be talking about. But my number one favorite movie of all time, if you know me, is La La Land, and I have it here on Blu-ray, of course. This is almost 10 years old, which is hard to believe because I can still remember when I saw it in theaters for the first time, and it just kind of blew my mind. I was, first getting into movies at that point, and was really just blown away by what I was seeing and hearing with all the fantastic music and visuals. And I've since kind of gone back throughout movie history and seen a lot of the things that have influenced it, and I love a lot of those movies as well, like Singing in the Rain, of course, just like a huge influence on La La Land.
Have you seen it on Umbrellas of Cherbourg yet?
It's been on my list for a while. I'm actually going to watch it next week for a movie club that I'm in, and so I'm very, very excited to see that for the first time.
I'll be interested to hear what you think. You've seen a Jacques Demy movie before, at least. I think.
Yeah, I've seen a couple.
Yeah, that's not my favorite of his. It's his most famous, but The Young Girls of Rochford is my favorite. I'm obsessed with that movie. I think it's one of my favorite musicals. But Umbrellas of Cherbourg is cool movie.
I've been kind of going through Demy somewhat chronologically, so I'm up to Umbrellas, and I have a couple more on my list that I'm going to hit after that. But yeah, I really vibe with him so far, and I'm excited to see some of those musicals.
Yeah, I saw Donkey Skin in theaters because it was playing in the city like last year, and a friend wanted to go. And weird movie, really, really weird movie.
Yeah, I get the sense that's one of his more obscure films there, but I'll definitely watch it at some point.
I liked it. I guess it was a like parody of like those kind of sword and shield, or just kind of fantasy movies, or like princess movies. It was more of a parody of them, but the plot is like really funny, where you're just like, they allowed this is like what they let happen, because it's so funny. But
looking forward to watching that. Yeah, that's what the show's gonna be. It's just 1 minute we're talking La La Land, the next we're talking Donkey Skin.
Because that's what movies are about. But to pivot back to La La Land, a movie I also love. I haven't seen it in a long time. It's been not 10 years. It's been a while since I've seen it. I watched it like 3 times when it came out. Yeah. It was the movie that got me into musicals, I would say, because I wasn't into them, and I have an issue with a lot of like musical music. My joke I always make when I like tell people why, it's a lot of the music's like, what am I doing? Where am I going? Like what? And I'm like, I like a song. I don't know. Yeah. Like a lot of that like acting.
Yeah, in that sense, I think some people will say that La La Land's not a traditional musical because there's a couple numbers that are like that, but a lot of them like weave into the story very well, where there will be like, a concert, or, Ryan Gosling playing piano and just kind of like singing, and it kind of meshes well with the movie. So in that sense, I think it's like kind of like a gateway for people that maybe don't like musicals to kind of dip their toe in. But yeah, I think it's incredibly well directed and acted. Emma Stone, I think, greatest actor of our generation. You'll probably honestly hear me say that a lot.
It's so funny because I like her La La Land performance. I don't know if it's honestly like Oscar winning worthy. It's a good performance, but I think compared to what she's done afterwards, like it feels like she's leveled up significantly. Like even what was last year? Begonia, I think, is honestly like a better performance, possibly. Like,
yeah, she just manages to keep outdoing herself. It's like it's honestly kind of insane how good she is.
The Curse, like she's unbelievable in The Curse.
Yeah, that's a wild show.
That performance is like kind of next level. That's where I was like, oh, you are like really have become like one of our best actors. And like I recently watched what's it called? It's with Isabelle Huppert, not Ella. Um sorry. But it was the same year that came out, and that was the Oscar race. Um
Okay, interesting.
was because it was the year that Amy Adams was snubbed. Um it was L's the movie. The Verhoeven movie with Isabelle Huppert. Worth watching. Provocative movie for sure. French, provocative. It's about assault and stuff, but in a very strange, and I think it's supposed to be like a social satire, in a very Verhoeven way. But it was a kind of a race between them, and honestly, like I don't know if watching all those performances, like Emma Stone runs away with it, but I do love that movie enough where I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like her
Yeah,
big eyes.
yeah. She just, I think, just has a way of charming you throughout the movie, and some of her like just small like mannerisms, the faces she makes. It's a really like physical performance with all the dancing and um, even just kind of some of her small movements. It's really good. I was very excited that she won the Oscar that year. It was
I
kind
was
of just
too.
a force steamrolling through the Academy Awards that year. Of course, it didn't end up winning Best Picture, but um,
Yeah.
yeah, it had like 12 nominations or something like that.
It
So
won a ton of them too, if I
I think it won
remember.
6. Yeah,
I mean, that's
says
pretty good.
says it on the box right there. Six
Oh, there it
Academy
is. You know,
Awards.
yeah,
Yeah,
you have the info
got it
right
right
there.
there. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
a great film. Great film.
awesome. Yeah, and just to kind of close that loop, I now am very into musicals, and I think they're awesome. But I think before La La Land came out, we had a lot of bad musicals, American musicals that were coming out. You had your like Into the Woods and kind of like Disney slop. Before it was like the kind of slop it is now,
Yeah.
but it was a lot of like Rob Marshall esque, terrible, boring uh, Disney musicals. There wasn't a lot of energy in them, and I hadn't seen Chicago. I still haven't seen Moulin Rouge, which I do need to watch. But I hadn't seen some of the other like bigger musicals, and I like Chicago. But I hadn't seen any of those other ones yet, so I'm like, oh, these all suck. But I'd seen the bad ones, or some of the ones that are maybe less interesting, and then you go back and you watch your Singing in the Rains, and you're like,
Hmm.
these could be the best movies ever, but like they don't give people the space to make them, and they thankfully gave Chazelle the space to make La La Land. So hopefully we get more in the future. I would love some more like original musicals even.
Yeah, I mean, in the last couple years, I could think of a few that I liked. Tick Tick Boom.
I
I
wasn't a
actually
big
like.
fan of that one.
Yeah,
I,
I've seen it
I
a couple times, and I
really
really do. Yeah, it's kind of a comfort watch for me. I really love Andrew Garfield's performance in that.
he's really good in it. I just don't think I mesh with Lin Manuel Miranda's like sensibilities.
Yeah, I mean, I usually don't either, but In the Heights was another one that was
I,
kind of good too.
I liked it until West Side Story came out, and I was like, it's just so much better.
Yeah, the new West Side Story, Spielberg's is definitely like a better version of that kind of story, but I think
Yeah,
there's room for both.
it's good, but I think the direction in West Side Story is like so insanely good
Yeah,
that the fact that they came out in the same year, I think it just does In the Heights like a disservice because I'm watching that, then like 6 months later, I'm watching West Side Story, and I'm like, oh my god, like this is so much better, and it takes
yeah.
place in like the same neighborhoods, and but no, In the Heights is still good. I just maybe don't love it as much.
All right, what's your first film that you're going to talk about?
Okay, so my first film I'm going to talk about is Y tu mama tambien, and so my favorite movie, it goes between Y tu mama tambien and Cuarón's other film, Children of Men. Those are probably my two favorite movies, and I always say the one that's my favorite is the one I've seen most recently, which is Y tu mama tambien. and so that one's been on my letterbox top four. I don't. Sometimes I'll switch it out with Children of Men. That's really the only thing I kind of like switch out there. Um, yeah, it's funny. Like Cuarón, he is not a guy that's made a ton of movies, but I've seen all of them except the Little Princess, if that's what it's called. Um, he makes like this incredible sex comedy, hilarious and like heartfelt and emotionally draining and the most like alive movie. And then he makes the best Harry Potter movie. And then he
Yep.
makes this like other thing that's like the best, like in my favorite science fiction movie, if you call it dystopian movie. Um, and I like Gravity. I think Roma's very good. It's so funny that like if Roma's like his third best movie, that's like anyone would take that ever. It's so crazy that just run he went on. I wish he made more movies. But to talk more about Y Tu Mama Tambien, I watched this in a very like formative moment in my life where I was going through a lot emotionally. I was in college. I was getting over a breakup, and it for anyone that's seen it, because Jack, you haven't seen it, right?
A film I have not seen. Yeah, I'm excited to watch it soon. It's been on my list for a while, but yeah, I
It
haven't
is
gotten
a
around to it.
movie that announces itself immediately. I think is the best way to put it. Sometimes you'll watch a great movie and it takes a little bit to like get there.
Yep.
Where it's you're like, oh, this is like kind of good, and then you're like, whoa, 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 now it's good. Y Tu Mama Tambien, first scene, you're like, boom, we're in it, and I'm like, first scene, I'm like, is this the best movie ever made? And I'm like, yeah, it might be the best movie ever made. I connect with this movie really deeply. I find Emmanuel Lubezki's cinematography to be transfixing. The way he shoots it, kind of docudrama. Everything's handheld, but it's not shaky and confusing. It's the scenes are very lived in. Um, the the energy. It's a tactile film. A lot of long takes. Scenes play out for a really long time, but they're never fully static. They really live and they move in really wonderful ways. The compositions are really incredible, and it's so funny, but it's so moving, and it's also there's a voiceover in the film, and people who've seen it have it's a third party omniscient narrator, and it gives the film such a wonderful and interesting texture that fills in the gaps of all these other little pieces of this world that makes it feel so full and so alive in a way that I've rarely ever seen where not that it makes you feel small, but maybe in like a good way where like you're these characters are part of a bigger whole, a bigger country of Mexico. And I like the way that the film is clearly about these characters, but takes the time to like really fill in the spaces of this world and be like, there's other stuff going on here politically, emotionally, just other characters in this world that are worth understanding. And gut punch of a movie. Yeah, I wish I had more for you to say about it, Jack, just because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
haven't
I
seen it.
should have tapped in before we recorded our first
It
episode. That's my bad.
it's all good. Maybe we'll cover it because there's a lot to chew on. But
Yeah.
I guess I'll end on the fact that one of my favorite endings. We'll maybe get to another movie on my list that is maybe even a better ending.
Oh,
But um, I think it is one of the most like beautifully gut wrenching endings
mhm.
to a movie that I've ever seen in a way that I find really cathartic. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think it's really helped shape the way I see the world. And that's honestly, if a movie can help you do that, then like, woof,
Yeah.
it's doing a lot of work. Yeah, I think it's really a perfect movie. There's really nothing that hits quite like it. Maybe one day we'll do Children of Men. That's another perfect movie. I feel like nothing hits quite like it. But yeah, Cuarón, that's my guy.
Yeah. I have seen Children of Men pretty recently, and I was, really blown away with the world that is created there, and just kind of the stakes. It sets everything up really, really well. Definitely announces itself very quickly within the first couple minutes. There's that huge explosion, and you're
Love
kind of
that.
just off and running. Yeah, a very well shot film too. A lot of long takes. So yeah, Cuarón's definitely a guy that I want to get more into. So I'll definitely give Y Tu Mama Tambien a watch soon.
Yeah, I honestly I should have worn my Itu Mama Tambien shirt. I have a shirt for it. But yeah, all right, let's hear your second one, Jack.
All right, so my next film is a film that's very become very important to me in the last couple of years, and it's Richard Linklater's Dazed and Confused. Um, a film that I first saw on a plane, actually, believe it or not.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it had been kind of on my list for a while, and I knew it was kind of like a fun '70s movie, and so I threw it on a plane once, and I was just like, cool, this was a fun vibe. But it really stuck with me. Um, and about a year or two later, I ended up buying the Criterion edition, and I was like, this is a film I definitely want to return to pretty often. And so ever since I watched it that second time, it kind of solidified as an all timer for me. Um, I think it's a very perfect movie, honestly. Like it's just so fun, and it just transports you back to this time that even though neither of us were alive for, we could somehow feel nostalgic for. It's like we feel like we're there hanging with these characters on the last day of school. Just trying to figure out what to do, where the party's at, and yeah, it's so stylish with its choices and its soundtrack and the clothes, the cars. Talk about a film that announces itself immediately. I don't even think you see anything on the screen before you hear the first note of "Sweet Emotion" by Aerosmith, and
Yeah, I'm forgetting how it starts
you just hear
specifically.
that I don't even know it's like a guitar, but like it's got some funk to it, and it's like you hear that, and you're just like, okay, we're locking in immediately, and then you see them pulling up in the car, and it's just like it's perfect. Um, it's been kind of the launching point for a lot of stars. Matthew McConaughey especially.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
that's like the one I feel like Parker Posey though too.
Parker Posey, yeah. A couple of recognizable people as well, and it's really the film that put Linklater on the map as well. Yeah, I think it's just a great hang. It also
Such a
asks
good hang.
a lot of like pseudo intellectual questions that these high school kids are asking, but sometimes you really stop and think, and you're like, huh, that's an interesting point, and um,
For sure.
it's also just so funny too.
It's
Like
so funny. There's so many
Slater.
bits.
Slater's
Yeah,
just the best stoner that guy in a movie of all
love
time
that
when he's
guy.
just talking about Martha Washington and her weed farm, like just going off on these tangents, man, and it's so great. I watched it. I think it was a couple months ago with some friends, and I showed it to some of them for the first time, and I was just like smiling ear to ear the whole time. I was like, "This is the best ever, man! Like,
It's
this is
such a
such a
good
good
time.
time." Um, yeah, and
Yeah,
it really got me into Linklater too, who I'm sure we're going to be talking about a lot on this show.
we're both
But
Linklater guys.
yeah, definitely, yeah. So he really knows how to write dialogue and shoot things in a way that feel super authentic, and um, you see that in Slacker, his first.
I still have to see Slacker. That's one of the ones
Yeah,
and it's on Criterion, so like I should just like rip it.
yeah, that's one I'm gonna acquire soon on physical, but yeah, that's a fun film as well. Just a lot of
Yeah,
meandering, a lot of talking, a lot of pseudo
yeah,
intellectual stuff that you're just like, what is he talking about? And then sometimes you're like, oh, okay, that kind of makes some sense. Um, but yeah, Dazed and Confused, an all timer for me, and yeah, a film that I've really just come to love a lot.
yeah. I so my relationship with that movie, and I agree. I maybe I don't love it as much as Jack, but I think it's a masterpiece. I really do love that movie a lot. But the first time I saw it, I maybe was just not in the right headspace, which is a weird thing to say about such a chill movie, but I was just not really like on its level the way I am now. And so I liked it. I was like, oh, that's good, you know. And I mean, I think you can have that with a movie where like quote unquote like nothing happens, or it's like a hangout movie where like
Yeah.
if you're not really on the level, then you're not connecting with it, then it's going to bounce off you a little bit. But I I love the spiritual sequel. Everybody Wants Some.
Yep.
I should have taken it off the shelf. I have it over there.
Another great one.
I adore that movie. I think that movie is one of the best comedies of the last 10. It might be longer than 10 years now.
I think it
No,
came,
it came
out
out
10 years ago. Yep.
10 years ago. Yeah, 2016. Same year as La La Land. I love that movie so much. I think it's hilarious. I think it's brilliant. And so I don't know, a few months ago, half a year ago, whatever, I had a night with some friends where we were hanging out. We're like, let's watch a movie, and we just decided on Dazed and Confused, and I was like, all right, I've seen it. Like, oh, it's good, but you know, and we decided to throw it on, and I was like, wait a second, this movie's like perfect.
Yep.
At the end of it, we were cracking up. We had such a good time. It's really a great friend movie. It's a great guy hang movie too. Same with Everybody Wants Some. And I was just kind of like, how, like, there's that meme of like Danny DeVito, like recently, where it's like, and he's like, I get it.
Yep.
And like, that's how I felt watching it this time, where everything just worked so much better for me than I had remembered it working. And it's such a simple movie, but those are the hardest to make. And I'm just so in awe of his writing and like the way he writes that movie. Because it feels so natural, it feels so off the cuff, and he's not a flashy director like ever, and you know, you can't accuse him of that. His compositions are fairly, you know, practical over anything else, but he just knows how to direct actors, and he knows like how to get the best out of people. And that movie's just like, you're right, you're smiling ear to ear the whole time.
Yep.
It's just a good time, and there's really something to be said for that, and it's a really special movie.
Yeah. When it like first clicks for you, it hits on like a spiritual level. It's kind of crazy
Yeah.
how it's able to do that. But yeah.
And a great high school movie will transcend eras. And
Yep.
I think the ones that don't work are the ones that maybe, at least for me, maybe feel too specific in certain ways. But for a movie that is it's set in a 70s Texas town, something I have no connection to.
Yep.
I feel such a kinship with these guys, and
Yeah.
that's what you got to get out of those movies, and that's why it's one of the best. All right, I guess I'll throw mine on next, and let's keep in the spirit here. So I'm showing the whole box. We're talking more Linklater, specifically here. Wait, I have to hold the mic, but let me get out.
I have mine in the other room. I should have grabbed it as well, but I knew you were going to talk about this one. So
Before Sunset.
Yep.
One of my favorite movies ever, one of the best movies ever made, an absolute stone cold masterpiece. Let's see, my relationship with this movie, I don't remember exactly when I saw it. Maybe let me carbon date it. Let me see when I logged in on Letterboxd the first time. But it was just one of those movies that I liked the first one. And I do really, it's grown on me, the first one, more so. I see the first one as this like really sweet, gentle movie. There are moments in that one, as much as I love it, that like drag a tiny bit. Not that the whole thing drag, but there's like a few moments where I'm like, okay, this isn't like not everything is like perfect, but there's so many incredible scenes in that one, and it's such a smart idea. And so I was reading some reviews from like when that movie when Before Sunset comes out, because for anyone who doesn't know, the whole shtick of this trilogy is that they are not they're three films that are made 9 years apart, that take place in time 9 years apart, and they each are about one day in the lives of Jesse and Celine, these two characters, each of them 9 years apart from each other, and you know, before sunrise, sunset, and midnight. And you know, when Before Sunset came out, it was kind of seen as a weird idea. Like people were like, why would you ruin such a lovely movie with such a really incredible ending? Because like, what really can you do with a will they won't they kind of ending? Like it's really, the first one is a movie to see where you stand. Are you an optimist? Are you a pessimist? Or do they get together? Do they not get together? And I think that's a great litmus test for what that is. But and you can obviously ruin that, but leave it to Linklater to find the literal perfect way to capture this story. And it was a movie for me that really, like, as it's happening, I'm just like inching closer to the screen. I'm getting more invested. I was saying before, he's not always, maybe those visually like, crazy filmmaker, but there's some really, I think, sneakily great compositions in Before Sunset. Just the way that movie feels so natural and authentic, where you like don't even really notice the camera almost,
Yeah.
is really unique in how he does that. But really, the standout is it is maybe one of the top 5 greatest written movies of all time, in my opinion. At least in dialogue, I think it is the most. And give credit to Hawk and Delpy for that one too, because they
Yeah.
have writing credits on these two movies. They're like some of the most realized and lived in characters in like any movie I've ever watched. And they feel so, and I think maybe you'll agree with me, Jack, as you rewatch them, you can really see how smart they are in the evolution of these characters. How when you see, Jesse from one movie to the other, it does feel like you're seeing growth, but also just like the way he would grow, not just like generic growth. It's like we're seeing Jesse in a new light, the way it feels so natural, the way he's progressed. Same with Celine.
Yep.
And as this movie goes on, and as it goes on, first of all, I won't spoil it. I want to spoil it. I won't spoil it. The way that these characters unravel, the way that they go from talking in circles to really getting at the truth of what they want to say to one another. Yep. Over the course of these 2 hours. And this movie's almost in real time, which I think is really cool as well. The scene in the car
Yep.
is just some of the most gut-wrenching filmmaking I've ever seen. I'm just like in my chest.
Yeah.
It gets at things that are so honest and so real and so beautiful, like nothing I've ever really seen. And then we're followed up in the final scene that is, my favorite ending in any movie ever. It is
Yep.
the most perfect ending to a movie ever, the most perfect line to an ending, in my opinion. It is so wonderful and brilliant. And I don't know if you felt this way, Jack. The first time I saw the movie, I didn't really know where it was going. So I just kept thinking, like, what's he going to do? Like, what's he going to do?
Yep.
And then I'm like, of course that's what he was going to
Yep.
do. What else couldn't have been? It was, I see, I'm thinking about, like, I get so teared up thinking about it because it's just perfect. It's beautiful. It's love. Yeah, I don't know. What are some of your thoughts on it?
So I just watched this movie again. Finished
you
it like
just
an hour
watched
ago.
it, like an hour ago. Yeah, before
right
we
before we
recorded.
hopped on, I was like,
so you're fresh.
Scrizzy was like, let's record in an hour and a half, and I was like, perfect amount of time to watch Before Sunset again.
How long is it?
80 minutes.
80 minutes, perfect. Wow, just
It's a crisp
flies
80
right
minutes.
by.
It really does fly right by. And I just watched Before Sunrise again a couple days ago. Another 5-star masterpiece in my opinion, but the thing about Sunset is that it deals with the fallout of the first film and everything that happens, which is an incredible story in its own right. And it's not just a sequel that continues that story, but also builds on it in a really interesting way. And once you kind of figure out what has happened to these two characters the last 9 years, you have a lot of questions, and they slowly, do their normal thing of talking about, their lives and their jobs and their families and, the political state of the world and things like that. But they also talk about their experience in it the last 9 years and what the events of the first movie have done to them, and their opinions on love and romance, and it all kind of comes to a climax in that car scene that you mentioned, which is just some of the
It's
most
the best.
gut wrenching. I think is the right word that you use. It's
Yeah.
just like you just feel everything turning, and it goes Celine and then Jesse, and you're just like each of them have
Yeah.
such
But the way that like Jesse is also trying, and tell me if I'm right about this because you've seen it sooner than I have, obviously. But the way he's like touching her, trying to touch her in the car, but he's not, or she's trying to touch him.
it's a little bit of both. I think
Yeah,
at one point they
and
each kind of reach
and you're just like, oh my god! Like every touch of direction just amplifies it to like another level where you're like, they understand these characters inside and out. They're like some of the most realized characters ever. They feel so real
Yep.
and alive. And anyone that's been in like a relationship that has had any turmoil or just any of being in love, like you fully feel every like morsel of what they're talking about. Everything hits so deeply. Quickly, I've walked a lot of what they've walked in France. It's a fun little walk to do if anyone ever has the chance. And I've also been to a bunch of the places in Vienna. I was in Vienna in December, and me and my girlfriend we made it a point to go to a bunch of the places from the first movie. We went to the record store where they listened to that song, one of my favorites. We went to the shop where they do the foam thing, the bar, a bunch of the other spots. And then when I was in France, me and a friend, we walked through the bookstore. We went to the cafe. We walked around like the water where they walked. Definitely worth doing for any before fans out there.
Okay, I gotta grab my charger 1 sec.
All right, we're gonna take a quick charger break, guys. Yeah, but before sunset, it's really just it's one of the best, and I showed it to my girlfriend. I had her watch all of them, and I was able to see Before Sunset in theaters, which was awesome. It was playing at IFC, and I turned to her after, and she was just mouth agape, and I was like, hell yeah, hey, because she's not, we are not always on the same page movie wise, so the fact that she really connected with this one was a relief to me. I wanted to bring up a thought about this movie real quick. On Film Spotting, I don't know if you listened to their podcast on Before Sunset, but Josh on that podcast, he brings up a really interesting thing about how whenever they're talking about really serious things or like really emotional things, they use like art or music or theatrics to express those things. So in Before Sunset or Before Sunrise, they have the phone thing, and they use that as a way to talk about how they feel about one another. I'm forgetting some of the other moments off the top of my head, but the other example is when Celine brings Jesse to her apartment in Before Sunset. She's playing the song. She's playing music, and she's using that, and it's such a beautiful scene, and she's using that in the same way as like they have this thing where they like almost struggle to talk to each other unless it's through art. And I think there's kind of something really special about the way that they both do that it's not just like one or the other, that they almost have this like hidden language that they use. And I think it comes back in the third movie at the end when Jesse starts putting on the little bit at the cafe. Time travel. And the most beautiful full circle moment there. And I really like the way that they use that in the movie, the way that they connect that way, even though they have real moments of intimacy and real moments of honesty. I think it's really special how they do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say about these films, and in particular Sunset, watching it this time, they are all relatively short. Sunset especially just being 80 minutes, but
yeah, what do we got time-wise
It's
here?
almost non-stop just dialogue. And this is now my third time going through the trilogy, and there's still, little bits of dialogue that I'm picking out for the first time and really remembering. Just little points and conversations that don't last more than like a few sentences before they're on to the next thing. But just like the way it's constructed, it's like a beautiful like ballet of just conversation between these two characters, and they're
Yeah.
just so in sync with each other. And you know, like you said, Hawk and Delpy have writing credits, and I think even on the first one they contributed a lot to the script, and so it's just something that Linklater is really good at, is collaborating with actors and as artists, and not just performers, but writers. And yeah, it's just a really really special trilogy. I encourage anyone to check it out if you have somehow not seen these films.
I just checked, and the third one comes in at a whopping 109 minutes. So yeah, a real, a real slog to get through these. Yeah, we were talking about with the dialogue where it flows in Before Midnight, which I don't know if you're gonna watch that one too in your
Yeah,
rewatch, but
I think I got to go all the way.
you just gotta go the way. The car scene in the beginning of that movie where they're coming back from the airport, it's like a 15-minute unbroken take or something crazy like that, where it's just a two shot, like a medium two shot from the car on them. And it took me like 9 minutes to be like, wait, the camera hasn't cut, but it's so natural and it flows so, like, I mean, I guess just naturally, wonderfully. Just it feels so organic that you're like, oh my God, like it's almost like the camera's not there.
Yep.
And that's like the magic of Linklater, is that he can literally just plop a camera on there, and just he knows exactly how to get the most out of Hawk and Delpy, and you don't even realize. And it's so engaging. I think that's what makes it so great. It was like, yeah, that could be a bit of a slog potentially in the hands of a lesser filmmaker, but
Yeah.
you give it to him and he's just cooking. He's off.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear your
All right.
next one.
So my next film is something that I've loved since I was a very small kid, probably 10 years old, and it's Spirited Away.
Hell yeah.
Hayao Miyazaki's masterpiece. Probably saw it for the first time on like Cartoon Network or something, and was like, "What is this?" And I think I remember I was actually scared of it when
I hear that a
her
lot
parents
from kids.
turn into
Yeah.
pigs. I was like
Yeah.
a little freaked out, but I was very intrigued because there's something undeniably beautiful about the artwork and just the way this world is constructed. And I have seen this movie countless times. Like, I honestly could not even tell you how many times I've seen it.
Yeah, me either. And I'll like throw it on sometimes, and I'll watch like 30 minutes or
Yeah,
something. And
it's a good movie to just kind of drop in at any scene
Yeah.
on and just be like, oh yeah, we're in the bathhouse,
yeah,
Oh, there's Haku. Like, we're just
Yeah.
we're just gonna go with it from here. Yeah, it's I think Miyazaki is probably doesn't get enough credit as being just one of the best directors of all time. Period.
yeah, he
Obvious-
probably should get more credit for that. I mean, people
Yeah.
obviously like obsessed with Ghibli, but like he should be in those like goat director.
He should
talks
be in the
more.
GOAT conversations. Yeah.
He's one of the goats.
He really is. Like, the amount of just incredible films that he has is insane. Like, I thought about going with like Castle in the Sky here, a movie that I have come to really really appreciate
A
recently.
movie that I do not think is very good, but that's for another time.
Really? Okay. Well, we can talk about that a little bit
I
later.
think
But
that's probably his most flawed movie.
didn't you make a YouTube video about it?
Oh wait, you say Castle in the Sky?
Yeah.
I thought you said Hal's Moving Castle.
Oh no. Yeah. I need to revisit Howl's Moving Castle because I also didn't love that movie. But
Hal's is like the most beautiful like movie that like just doesn't work narratively.
I know people really like that one for some
People
reason.
ride
but
for that one. I've seen it like 3 times. I don't think it works, but it's so beautiful that you're just kind of like, oh, and the context. So it's not on YouTube. I made a Castle in the Sky video. I thought it was a pretty good video. It got taken down by Ghibli.
Yeah,
Those bastards.
they're they're notorious for copywriting on YouTube, but
Such nonsense. I
yeah,
really, and I worked hard on that video. It took a long time to
I
make.
remember it was very good. I enjoyed
Yeah,
it
it
a
was
lot.
up there for like a week, and then they took it down. I also love that movie. I love so many of his movies, but
Yeah.
yeah, Spirited
There's
Away.
there's something particular about Spirited Away. I think that
It's
it's
singular.
it's kind of just his magnum opus.
Yeah,
The world, all of the worlds that he creates are so magnificent and magical. But I was thinking about this recently, and like having recently watched the film, there's really not much to the world in Spirited Away. There's really just the bathhouse, and then later on there's a scene where Chihiro and some of the other characters venture off, and you see a little bit of the world outside of the bathhouse. But you can tell that it's such a magical place that just there's so many things out there that you're not seeing. There's of course magic. There's spells. There's dragons and witches, and so it's a
yeah.
very contained story within the world that it creates. Um, but it's still so fascinating,
But
and
it feels endless. I
it
think
really
that's the
does. Yeah,
thing. Yeah, you're right. It's contained, but it feels like there's so much on the edges
yeah,
that you're not seeing, and that again, it's like a full meal in the sense of like any room you walk into, there's all these minor, like unspoken enough characters that like you're like, what's that guy's story? How did all these people get here? What is
yeah.
happening? And
It
you
feels
don't
very
need to
lived
know.
in.
It's so lived in, and you're like they've always existed somehow.
Yeah,
These everything in this place has always been here, always has been, always will be,
right.
and that's like I think some of the magic of Spirited Away.
Yeah, and I think Chihiro is probably the best, without thinking about this too hard, probably the best Ghibli protagonist out there. Just what
I'd have
she
to think
goes
about that.
through and the growth that she, just goes throughout the course of this movie, and the bravery that she has to put on, even though you can see how terrified she is at certain
Yeah,
points. Um, yeah, it's really cool stuff, and I love how Miyazaki uses children as the main characters of his films, even though his films can be for children, but also like not in the way
they're
that a
for
lot of
everyone.
not in the way that a lot of like Pixar movies are for children.
Yeah, when I part of my video was the inspiration was the fact that Ghibli movies or Miyazaki, but Ghibli too, they respect children, and I think an issue with modern kids movies, not that I honestly see like any of them
Yeah,
now, but maybe because is they don't respect kids, and the way that I look at it is kids are so smart, and they're not given the credit for the way that they're smart, and they're so sensitive and willing to pick up things, and I think we forget that when we're kids, there's so many things that we are attuned to that people tell us we're not, and I think Ghibli movies give kids that confidence and the understanding that they'll figure it out, that
yeah,
they'll understand things, and that's what's special about Castle in the Sky. That it's a rip roaring, and it's high stakes, and it's like it's fun and it's dangerous,
yeah,
and it gives kids like that escape, and it's like, oh, you can handle this. But I guess similarly, but in a different way, Spirit Away is saying you can handle this, but it's more of an emotional thing where
yeah,
it's like a really emotional vulnerability. It's endlessly fascinating and watchable. And
yeah.
I don't remember which one I saw first, Ghibli movie. It was in high school. I didn't get into them till high school, and maybe I saw Mononoke first, or Nausicaa. I got shout out Nausicaa,
Yeah,
that poster
I love
back
that
there.
poster.
Yeah, it's a great one. I I just remember being like, yeah, this is the best.
Yeah,
One of again, that's also one of my favorites. That and Mononoke, I really love Mononoke. I still think it's Spirited Away for me, and I just think it's a lot of movies that are my favorites are movies that feel like every time you watch them, there's something new to get out of them.
hmm,
There's something new to grab from their feels like there's some kind of like mystery to behold or
yeah,
some secret in there. And Spirited Away always feels like that, where I'm always left in a good way being like there's so much to this world still that
Yeah.
I'll never get, and I always find something new to enjoy. And yeah, I have to think about the protagonist thing. I was thinking about like, is it Mononoke? But like they don't like what's his name in Mononoke? Is it Haku? Is it, or is that
Mm,
from
no, I think it's
what?
Haku's in Spirited Away.
Spirited Away, Spirited Away.
Yeah,
I'm
it's been a while since I've seen Mononoke, but he's
I'm
a great protagonist too.
he's good. He doesn't like change a lot though. Like he's just kind of the man
Is
the
it
whole time.
Ashitaka?
I don't remember. Trying to look it up if I have it somewhere really quick to just even be like, who is the best protagonist in one of those movies?
We'll do a
Wait, wait.
podcast about it one day.
Yeah, the best protagonist. Oh, you're right. It is Ashitaka. That was a good poll. Um, maybe I really like the voice acting's not good in the dub, but Patsu from Castle in the Sky I do think is a really fun
Yeah.
protagonist. Porco Rosso's up there.
Kiki's delivery
Kiki's
service.
a great.
She's really great too.
She is a great protagonist.
She'd
Yeah,
probably be. That's like my one and two is Chihiro and Kiki.
she's up there. She has a lot of personality. Yeah, maybe we'll cover one of these Ghibli movies at some point. You have any final words on Spirited Away? Do you want to move on?
Now, take it away.
All right, so for my third movie, I have the trilogy here, but Ocean's 11.
Okay.
And I got the whole three here. Um, yeah, Ocean's 11 is, I think, to me, the ideal Hollywood film. It is a funny crime. I wouldn't even call it a thriller, but like it's funny, it's dramatic, it is thrilling. I love a crime movie, and it is filled with some of our best actors and our best faces. And
Yep.
I really appreciate a movie star. I appreciate what they bring to a movie. Just the faces. Like you look at George Clooney and you're like, you just can fall into his face. Like
Yeah.
he just has such a watchable face. Pitt, Damon, Julia Roberts, Cheadle, Andy Garcia, like just the faces in this movie. Elliot Gould, like everyone is amazing. And Soderbergh, I mean, I don't know if you saw the controversy with him the last couple of
Yeah,
days.
the AI stuff. It's a shame.
I actually worked with him once. I worked on Full Circle, his HBO show. I got to see him kind of work, which was really cool. And he's his own ACAM operator. He goes under like a pseudonym for it. I forget what it is, but he has like a fake name. It might be like Andrew Schultz or something like. No, that's the podcast guy, but it's something like that. It's like it starts with like an A. It's something like that. But Soderbergh is really, I think, when you look at his filmography, like he makes a lot of weird movies. He has like 30 movies or something. It's a lot, but
He
like
works a lot.
he is like an underrated guy, I think. I don't know if he's hit his peak since like Oceans really, but he has a lot of great movies, and I think he's a really interesting filmmaker.
Yep.
But Ocean's 11, I think I've seen it a bunch, and then over the last couple years, I just realized Peter Andrews. I knew there was an A in there somewhere.
Is it
I
Peter
knew there was an
Andrews
Andrew.
isn't that a like a furniture store or something?
No, or maybe I know the place you're talking
Yeah.
about. But no, like I'm watching this movie and I go, every line is hilarious, every cut, every scene. You know, it's a Hollywood movie, but it has real underdog indie energy to it when you watch it. There's like funny, weird cuts. It's very shaggy in a way I like, but also it's big. It takes place in casinos. They're robbing banks, heist casinos. Like it's just like it's a movie for me that it just works. I find everything in it just so simply like perfect and amazing, and it's one of the most rewatchable films ever. I
Yep.
think if you were like, what's a movie that you out of any movie you know that you want to just throw on, you could throw it on. My number one is Ocean's 11. I think it is just like the most watchable movie ever, and it's the performances and just the jokes I find really funny. I find the physical humor really funny, but also it is so romantic, and the scenes between Roberts and Clooney are so good. Their chemistry is like stupid how good it is.
Yeah.
And when I think about like what's an ideal, what do you want out of a movie? What more can I want out of a movie than a crime comedy romance drama with some of our greatest living actors in it?
It really understands the assignment and
Yeah.
executes on it perfectly. Like it's just a really tight heist movie that has a lot of stars, one of the greatest
Yes.
ensembles of all time, but everyone plays their part perfectly. Nobody tries to steal the show at like an inappropriate time. I don't think
Yeah.
everyone's got the proper you know level of commitment, and yeah, it's a really fun heist movie. I haven't actually seen the sequels, but I've seen
Oh,
Ocean's
okay.
11 a couple times, and I do think
So
that that's just a
I'm,
really
I'm making a
fun movie.
promise on here. At some point, we're covering Ocean's 12 because
Okay.
my take is Ocean's 12 is also a perfect movie. I think is a 5-star masterpiece as well. And there's
Yeah,
a small contingent of people online that I know agree with me
I
too.
know it has its fan base for sure.
It's a movie that it's different, and I think when you watch it, you're kind of upset that it's not the same movie, but when you settle into it, and it's honestly it's more of a slice of life movie in a way. It's way shaggier.
Okay.
It's really like you're watching these guys hang out. Um, and when you go into it with the expectations of you're getting something different, it is still a crime like heist movie, but a much different one of just these guys are hanging out in Europe and they're kind of just having a good
Yeah,
time. It
love a
is
hangout movie.
it's brilliant. It is so funny. It is so also so romantic. Such funny editing. And again, in Soderbergh's his own editor. There's this funny anecdote from Clooney, not Clooney, Damon, where he says they're at the wrap party for Ocean's 12, and he goes, "Oh, I can't wait to see a cut." And Soderbergh goes, "Oh, I'm like almost done cutting it, like in my room. Like he just cuts it like in his room. He's a nut job. He
Yeah.
edits, writes, directs, like everything." But what the last thing maybe I'll say about this movie is I think that it so Clooney is like he's not in enough movies these days where he's like the guy, but like when he's the guy, no one's better. But on top of that, I do think Pitt works the best when he's the number two. He
Hmm.
can do the one well, but I think he works better as the Robin to Clooney's Batman here, and it like they have the like just the most incredible chemistry, which pivot makes that movie Wolfpack or Wolves from a
Yeah.
few years ago. Terrible
Didn't
movie.
didn't see it.
It is so bad. That movie, like you actually are shocked, like that these two people can be on screen and have no charisma. Like the life is sucked out of them in that
Yeah.
movie. And that movie's terrible. Do not watch that movie. Um, but and then on top of that, so you have the Batman and Robin there, where you're like, Pitt is in the pocket here, and I think that's kind of if I'm thinking about it chronologically, that's more of the time where Pitt is starting to be more appreciated as a good actor, and I think that's kind of where he finds his footing in that space where he can be the fun number two
Yeah.
and really chew the scenery. And then you have the number three is Damon, another guy that's typically a one, and he also to me works best when he's a weird guy, either when he's a piece of shit or slimy or
Yeah.
weird. But most of my favorite Damon performances are when he's a little shit. And Linus is the other guy. I'm forgetting his name in this movie. He's so good in that role, and I think it's really impressive that these guys can capture that really well, and that they're able to kind of let that like ego go and allow themselves, and even like Cheadle and Casey Affleck and all these guys are like they all know the assignment and they
Yeah.
all know what to do, and Garcia and Roberts, they all exactly get what their part in this movie is, and maybe it's just because they just love having fun that they're just like we're so down for it, but it's the most easy to enjoy movie maybe ever.
Yeah. It's like the 2010 Heat where they're just assembling the super team, and it's like
Yeah,
there's
it's a
only one ball,
crazier.
but everyone, if we all come together, we could win a couple championships here. That's what
You're
they did.
you're you're sorry. I haven't. I've only seen the third one once, and I didn't love it. But I do want. I have it, so I might as well
Yeah.
rewatch it at some point. But yeah, those are some bangers. And now let's get to
Right.
your last movie.
Yeah. So for my last one, I wanted to kind of pivot to something that is a little different. Um, this isn't in my top four, but I just wanted to talk about another five-star movie that I think more people should see if you haven't. And it's Double Indemnity.
Oh, I
Billy
have that.
Wilder. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of the most essential film noir out there, and it's
I'm sorry to interrupt you real quick. I was right. Matt Damon's character's name is Linus. I
yes
wanted to make sure I knew it was right. But
for the
yes,
for the
please.
record.
For the
Um,
records stand, I was correct actually. Please continue.
yeah, I mean, so Double Indemnity by Billy Wilder, just one of the greatest crime stories ever written, and it's another movie that's very dialogue driven.
Yeah.
This is a little more, action packed in terms of its plot, but
I'm gonna ask you not to spoil it though. So I have it, and I watched half of it, and then somebody like came over, and I wasn't able to finish it, and I still have to finish it.
should have
So maybe
should have thrown them out. Just
so
that's it.
maybe that's some homework I got to do soon.
Yeah,
I'll watch it. But
yeah, I won't spoil it, but
the half I saw, loved by the way,
yeah,
was really into that.
it's just peak. It's the best movie ever made about insurance. And yeah, it's great. I mean, Barbara Stanwyck, an icon. You got
What
Fred
other
McMurray.
insurance movies?
I don't know. We could do a top five list at some point, but this is
Is Matt
this is
Damon's the
definitely number one.
informant about insurance? I don't know. There's probably insurance fraud movies.
Yeah. Well, spoiler, but
Oh
there's
yes,
there's some not there's some not legal stuff going on here in this one, but
yeah.
I think Billy Wilder is a filmmaker that I've been getting more into lately. He's got Sunset Boulevard. He's got
Another one I have to see, which
oh, that's a
I
great one
like.
as
I
well.
keep waiting for it to play in theaters because like there's a theater in New York called Metrograph, and they play a lot of old movies.
Yeah,
And there's another theater like Film Forum. They play a bunch too, and they've played it, and I haven't been able to see it. But it's not. It hasn't been on anything in a little while, like as a service. So I'm now at this point. I'm like, when
yeah.
it's on something, I just got to see it.
I think it's on like Paramount Plus. I think a lot of his movies.
Oh
This is
yeah,
this was back when filmmakers would really only make films with one studio, or at least that was like more of the norm. So I think a
yeah.
lot of Wilder's films are on like Paramount Plus
All
for
right,
streaming.
I'm gonna have to tap in.
They all have really good 4K editions too. Fortunately, mine is not 4K, but
I don't think mine is 4K.
yeah, I
4K
have The
either.
Apartment on 4K. I have watched this film on 4K. My friend has it, and Sunset Boulevard. Also, they all look great on 4K. So
That's
definitely
good.
go pick those up.
Have you seen
Um,
Some Like It Hot?
I haven't. That's the next one I'm going to tap into.
So I saw that in theaters. That was a fun one to
Yeah,
see in theaters. It some of its humor is a little dated. I know that's maybe
yeah,
taboo to say, but it's still really really good. I maybe don't love it, capital L love it, like um some other people do, but it's so iconic. Like there's so many lines in that movie.
yeah,
And it's very very easy to enjoy. And what I love about some of those old movies is they have some of like they're so over plotted in a way that like you're like why would you do all of that, but it just works, like it doesn't even matter.
yeah. I think a lot of Wilder's films can be not even convoluted, but just like there's a lot happening. And it not in like a very slapsticky way, but in a way that can be kind of funny and comedic.
Yeah,
And the dialogue is really where he shines most. Some of the line deliveries and the things that are being said just kind of stick with you, and you're
yeah,
just
he's
like,
one of
this is one of the
our
best
great writers.
one of the
Yeah,
best screenplay writers that ever lived. So yeah, Double Indemnity, a classic film noir that I think everyone should
yeah,
have
maybe
seen.
we'll do a Wilder movie at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't remember enough about it to say I remember enjoying what I watched, but I'll definitely have to tap in
yeah,
soon. um for my last one, I don't have it, I don't own it, unfortunately, because there's not like a great copy of it yet. I'm kind of waiting for like a good copy of it to drop. But it is Paul Thomas Anderson's The Master, and maybe somebody can tell me there's actually a good like edition of it somewhere that I'm missing.
Kind of
But
surprised there isn't. It's not out there.
yeah, I there's like a Blu-ray I could get, but I'm just kind of waiting for like some kind of special edition or something,
Yeah.
which I'm surprised isn't out there because I think it is one of the best movies ever made. I am obsessed with it. So, a little context: PTA, my favorite director. I got into him when I was like 14, 15. Started with I don't know if it was Boogie Nights or There Will Be Blood, but I had watched those two, and I was like, I'm in love with this filmmaker. I'm in love with his work. I saw Magnolia soon after, and what I remember about his work was, I think about this with There Will Be Blood, where I don't know, I was 14 watching that movie. What do I know about that? Like it should have gone way over my head, and I think to a degree it did, but a 2 hour 45-minute movie about an oil man drilling, and I was like, I remember watching it late on my computer, like I was pretty tired, and I like could not like stop looking at it. I was like,
Yeah.
this is so transfixing, and like, what is it about this movie? And very quickly he just kind of became my guy, and I got into him. So yeah, The Master had been the most recent movie that come out when I got into him, because I think that's 2012, and then Inherent Vice comes out like 2015, I want to say, and or maybe 2014, 15, one of those, I think. And so I saw The Master in either high school or college. I don't remember when. It was either like senior year of high school or like early college. And when I first saw it, I honestly didn't really like it. I was really confused. I was kind of like, what is this? You know, I think like a lot of people at the
Normal
time when they saw it,
response. Yeah.
because I didn't see it in theaters. I was just kind of like, I thought this was supposed to be about like Scientology or something along those lines. Like, what is this movie? And I was like, this is a movie about like nothing. Like, what is this? I was kind of dismissive of it. I was confused, but something about it just kind of stuck in my craw, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I think it was on Netflix or something at the time, and I like just kept rewatching it. Like I rewatched it like 3 or 4 times within the span of like a few weeks, because I just kept being like, what is it about this movie that I cannot stop thinking about? And after watching it like a bunch of times, I was like, I think this is like my favorite movie, or like one of my favorite. It was such a funny thing. I had a similar thing with No Country for Old Men too, where I didn't get it when I watched it, but I also was like 14 and like on a plane when I first saw it, and like, and then I like watched it later. I was like, oh wait, this is a masterpiece. This is like the best movie too. But The Master to me is, I think it's PTA's most singular work. I think that it is everything he does well and captured in one movie. I love pretty much all his movies. I think he doesn't make bad movies, but The Master's what speaks to me. I think it has two of the greatest performances ever. I think Joaquin and Philip Seymour Hoffman's performances are two of my favorites ever. I'm just like two guys going toe to toe, just like delivering haymakers, like
Yep.
scene after scene. That movie looks so good. It looks incredible. You like, the colors are so deep, the compositions are so perfect. It's like PTA in that movie. I mean, a lot of his movies, but you watch that movie and it's like he found the place where the camera had to be. It's not where it like was going to be. It's like there's nowhere else this camera could go. There's nowhere other move this camera could have done. He found the perfect one. There is nothing else that could have been done. It is a guy operating at the highest level of his skill. And not that he's not. I mean, he's made bangers afterwards,
Yeah.
but I find something so mysterious and wonderful. I think that's really what makes me keep coming back to it, is that it's a movie about love. It's about between like this friendship, these two people, and I think the connection you have. I also have this real interest in like mid-century America, like mid-1900s America, in this period when there was technology was starting to boom, but before it became so omnipresent, where a person could travel the country really for the first time ever at that speed, and they can just kind of start their life anew. Like I think there's something really haunting and really magical about the way that film depicts the idea that you can just pick up everything and go, and you could start a whole new life, and no one will know who you are, and no one could ever know who you are, and that's not really possible today in
Yeah.
the same way. And I think there's something special about, at the time the country still felt kind of unknown in that way, where if you're from one side of the country, you're not seeing the other. And not that the movie's about that, but I think the way that he travels and the way that it's about a man adrift, I find really interesting. Have you seen it, Jack?
Yeah, so I've seen this film once a couple years ago, and it did really stick with me. I think kind of like you, first time I saw it, I was like, I kind of am picking up what's going on here, but it's not totally clicking. And I think as I've gone through and watched more of PTA's films, I kind of get what he was going for, and I do really want to revisit it because it is an incredible, like, just two-hander of these guys that need each other in different ways, and you see
Yeah.
kind of their relationship grow and clash, and yeah, it's a very fascinating film for all the reasons that you're mentioning. And I think it's interesting that you chose this one because PTA has a lot of bangers, like you said.
Yeah.
And, a film that I was considering for my top four is Phantom Thread. That's my
I
favorite
mean, a
PTA.
masterpiece.
Yeah.
Masterpiece.
Like, anyone could pick from, like, any of PTA's films as their favorite, and it
Yeah.
kind of just makes sense depending on your personality or, where you came to it
Yeah.
for the
And
first time.
and I have a video, and I guess you can see this on if you want to watch it. I have a PTA video where I pre one battle where I talk about all his movies, and yeah, I understand why other people don't connect with this one the same way I do necessarily, but especially you can see in the comments where I asked people to give me their
Yeah.
their rankings. Not many people shared my number one spot. But I think it's a movie that kind of demands rewatching.
Yeah.
And I love a movie that does that. When I almost made a video about this and I ended up not making it just because I was just having trouble like breaking into the story a little bit of like what I wanted to say. But the rewatchability of movies is something I find interesting.
Yeah.
And like there's some movies that are not really meant to be rewatched. Like I don't think anyone is like throwing on 12 Years a Slave whenever.
Yeah.
It's a great movie, but it's not something that you necessarily are going to revisit. Where there are some movies that are great and you can revisit, and then there's kind of like quadrants, and there's like bad movies that you don't want to, or bad movies that you want to rewatch, and like
Yeah.
does that make them better because you want to rewatch them than like something you kind of liked more but don't want to rewatch? I don't know. There's something interesting to be said for that,
Yeah.
but what I love about The Master is that it makes me want to keep revisiting it. Like I feel like there's always something to grapple with and to take away and to get at with a movie that I feel like is grappling with those ideas itself. That is questioning like our place in the world, our place in communities, what it means to like be a person just alive, but also to like connect with another person and what that takes from you emotionally. Um, I think it's Joaquin's best performance. It's my favorite of his. He's given a lot of great performances,
Yep.
less recently, but a lot of great performances, and it's maybe Phil's best performance. I mean, the Capote performance is so good. I don't know if you've seen that one.
I haven't.
It's really. I have a video about Bennett Miller, so I saw it beforehand, but I've watched Capote like 4 times now. That movie, that performance he's like another guy because
Yeah.
you haven't heard The Voice.
He's one of the greats. I mean,
He's one of the greats. I miss him every day. I
Yeah.
miss Phil every day, and he was in almost every PTA movie. It was his guy. I'm glad he worked with Cooper, but
this podcast dedicated to Philip Seymour Hoffman,
this is the only
Rest in
podcast
peace.
dedicated to Philip Seymour Hoffman.
a real one.
Yeah, and let's not forget Amy Adams, who is also really incredible in the movie.
Gets a lot of heat. I think mostly unnecessarily. I kind of like her as an actress,
She's-
but Yeah,
She's great. I mean, she's kind of, fallen out of favor recently just because of like not being in good movies where it's like get a
Night
new
Bitch
agent.
underrated.
I started that movie and I just could not get
It's
into it.
really okay. It's
Yeah, I don't know. The
it's not
energy
bad.
wasn't for me. But she's great in that movie. She goes toe to toe with Phil in a way that I really enjoy. Also, Jesse Plemons as Philip Seymour Hoffman's son in
I
that movie.
didn't even remember he's in that.
Yeah, and he's a couple lines. He's good. Rami Malek gets cucked. He's good in that movie. For a couple scenes, there's a lot of guys. Laura Dern for a scene.
Okay, I really gotta go back and
You
watch
watch
this
that
again.
movie now, you're like, wait, why is like everyone in this
Yeah.
movie? A lot of guys that would become really big are in it
PTA, yeah,
randomly.
everyone has their PTA moment. You know, even in Inherent Vice, there's a lot of guys that just
A lot
show
of
up in that
guys in
movie.
that.
Like,
Yeah, yeah. Like, I guess Reese is a bigger character, but there's like,
yeah,
so you're like, Reese Witherspoon's in a PTA movie. That's kind of fun.
yeah.
Yeah, the master and the score. The score is awesome. I mean, I don't know if it's Johnny Greenwood's best score. I would maybe give that to Phantom
He
Thread.
he always delivers.
He always delivers. It's an incredible score. I do want to shout. I want to get his name. I want to shout out the cinematographer because, so he had worked with Robert Elswit for every movie before, The Master, and then after, There Will Be Blood, they split off. They haven't worked together since, and I think maybe there were some creative differences. I've listened to an interview with Robert Elswit. Elswit, he's a really smart guy. I mean, he's a great DP. Maybe a little rough around the edges
Yeah.
from at least the one I listened to. Maybe I think they were just creatively like butting heads a little bit. Maybe both strong personalities, but also I think the fact that PTA went 5 years before making The Master, like there's a lot of time between movies, and he's like, I'm not waiting for you anymore. And now PTA kind of does his own cinematography, like he does it. He's not credited on Phantom Thread or Licorice Pizza or One Battle, but he does work as a DP now too. It is, what is his name? Mihai Malimar Jr. Malimar.
Shout out to him.
He is from Bucharest, Romania. Bucharest, Romania. He's working today still. He did Megalopolis.
Okay, still haven't
he-
seen that.
Worth watching. It's interesting.
Very
It's really interesting.
very interested, but yeah,
I saw it in theaters. I think it's worth a watch just because of like I love Coppola. I love the audacity that man has, and
Yeah.
he has so many masterpieces that you're like, you know what, this one's a good time.
It's one
But
for him.
shout out him because he made one of my favorite looking movies ever. There's some like shots in that movie where you're like, Jesus Christ, like why don't movies look like this anymore?
Yeah.
A movie just with brilliant scene after scene that is, I think if you've seen it, rewatch it. If you haven't seen it, watch it multiple times, and don't get mad if you don't get it the first time, but just let it sink into you, and then let it and then just kind of embrace what it's saying. It's kind
Let
of
it marinate.
weirdness.
Yeah.
Let it marinate. It's a movie that needs to marinate, and then it becomes one of the best. Jack, before we end here, I actually have a surprise question for you.
Boy, here we go.
I prepared. I have my answer. It's not fair that you don't have your answer, but just to throw a little curveball, we showed a lot of our DVDs here, a lot of our criterions. If you could pick 4 movies to be the next 4 for the Criterion release, what would they be? And before you answer, what I want you to think about is if it already has a good release, it doesn't necessarily need one. Like
Yeah.
I have movies that are like an Arrow release or like Vinegar Syndrome or something that they already have a good version. They don't necessarily need that.
So, I'm going really just off the cuff here. The first thing that came to mind is a film that I haven't seen because it's
Okay.
very hard to find, and it's
Okay.
David Lynch's Wild at Heart. A lot of
I've seen Wild at Heart.
a lot of Lynch films are in the Criterion Collection, and I just can't find this film anywhere. I've never seen it. I want to watch it. It's not streaming.
I saw it in theaters last year on Valentine's Day. It is a hoot. It is
Yeah.
a crazy ass movie. It's like a Looney Tunes movie.
Exactly why I want to see it. I mean, I want to round out my Lynch filmography, and that's one
Yeah.
of the missing pieces.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
that's a good one.
What are some of yours?
Okay, so I can bang some of them out quickly because I've talked about them. But number one, Children of Men. I think I would love for that to get like a new release. I don't know if there's like a good release for that or like a definitive one that people like, but I haven't seen it. Another one I don't own because I'm kind of waiting for like a special edition to come out. Maybe I missed it. The Master, waiting for that. So those two
There's
I've
not a
talked
lot
about.
of PTA films in the
It's
Criterion
only
collection.
Punch Drunk Love,
Interesting. Yeah.
which is weird. I would really love for them to put out The Master and Phantom Thread. I imagine there's a good edition of There Will Be Blood somewhere,
Yeah.
just because of how iconic that movie is. But my third one, Brick, Ryan Johnson's
Yeah.
Brick. Have you seen it?
I haven't. No.
So okay, we're gonna cover that one day. Another promise.
Okay.
That movie rules. That movie is so good. One of my favorites. My favorite Ryan Johnson movie. I think he's made some good movies, but I think Brick is a masterpiece. I saw it in theaters in London when I was studying abroad there. There's this theater, shut up, Prince Charles Theater. They only
Heard of it.
play movies like on film,
Yeah.
like old movies as far as I can remember. I saw The Shining there. I saw True Romance there, some bangers. But I saw Brick there. I saw it on 35 mil, and I was like, holy cow! I might have seen it before that too, but I rewatched it there. Rules. Such a fun. It's a neo noir set in a high school. Joseph Gordon-Levitt with the shaggy hair that's inspired by Spike Spiegel.
Love that.
A direct reference that Ryan Johnson's talked about before.
He's a really interesting filmmaker. He's come to the Philadelphia Film Festival a couple years. He came this past year for the premiere of Wake Up Dead Man, and he came
Nice.
for Glass Onion as well. Maybe not Criterion movies, but I would love for those to get physical releases because I have.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have
'cause
the original
Netflix
Knives
of it
Out.
all.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I would love to just round out that trilogy.
Yeah, and Wake Up Dead Man was so good.
He said it's something that is important to him is to eventually try to get those on a physical release. So hopefully he comes through.
Yeah,
with that.
I'm hoping for that. But in the meantime, Brick only got a Blu-ray release like recently. I should probably pick that up, but
Yeah.
it was like only in the last few years. And that movie came out in like 06, 04 or something. And it's a movie that just kind of speaks to me. I think I love a neo noir.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite genres. There's a lot of good ones. I wish there were more good ones, but I love the kind of specificity and weirdness and the way he's able to mesh genres so that like, it's high schoolers talking like they're in a 40s movie. Like it's really fun
Yeah.
but it's also really thrilling and violent, and I think it's as a first film, it is one of the best first films in my opinion. A really incredible debut. And I think it deserves a Criterion release. Let me hear.
I got a couple other ones.
Okay.
Joachim Trier's Oslo, August 31st. I think.
I almost watched that the other night. I still have to see it. I have like a Mubi subscription for
Yeah.
like the next like 3 weeks. They gave it's like $1 for like a month. I do have to watch that before it runs out.
A fantastic film, a devastating portrait of addiction and the fallout it can have on someone's life. Really blew me away. And I have The Worst Person in the World, and I know Sentimental Values getting a Criterion
Yeah,
release.
so round out the trilogy.
I think we should round out the trilogy there. And then
That's a good
another
idea.
one that I thought of, which is a film that I won't shut up about that came out a couple years ago, and that
Yep.
I might ask you to talk about this on an episode, but
I'm willing. Maybe not yet, but I'm
we'll
willing.
see. But I believe it's Neo Sora is the director of Happy End that came out.
Oh, not where I thought you were going. But,
well, yeah, I love this film.
Oh, interesting.
Came out 2014 or 2024, I believe. Japanese film, just a fantastic modern social commentary, and also a really touching adolescent coming of age movie. Um, on the Criterion Channel streaming right now. I would
Yeah,
love
that's where
a
I
physical
watched it.
release because it's not available in the United States. So I think that would be a really cool addition to the collection. A film I've
That's a
been
good one.
dying to rewatch ever since I finished it.
Interesting. I liked it okay. I didn't really connect with it super hard. I appreciated some of what it was going for, but I kind of just struggled to like get into what
Yeah,
it was saying. I
there's a
couldn't.
lot of ideas in the movie. A lot's being thrown at you, but I do really appreciate the blending of kind of a coming of age story with a political and social commentary.
Yeah, and I think I on paper I'm really into that. It was just maybe the way it was made, and if we end up talking about it, I'll have to
Yeah.
I'll have to I'll be forced to give it a rewatch. And
Where did you think I was going with that? Just
I thought you were
curious.
gonna say Babylon.
Well, that has a great 4K, but
Does it? Okay.
yeah, I have it, in the other room.
Yeah.
Babylon, fantastic film.
Me and Jack saw Babylon together, and I think it's fine. And
We
Jack loves it.
what was funny is we were with our friends Dylan and Mitch, and I think we
Yeah.
all had different reactions. I was like
Yeah.
masterpiece. Dill was like really good. You were like okay, and I think Mitch just didn't like it, right?
He didn't like it.
So we were just had the whole spectrum of responses to that movie.
Yeah. Well, I imagine at some point because of Jack, we'll cover it. But
Oh yeah, we'll talk that one.
a movie I think has some really amazing scenes and a lot of okay scenes to follow.
But even the okay scenes are just you're just there. You're
I
just
mean, look,
hanging out.
it would be a jam-packed episode. There's a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll give one more. So initially, my thought for a fourth movie that I would love in the Criterion Collection would be Mike Mills' Beginners, but
Yep.
they literally just announced 2 days before we're recording this that they're bringing the Mike Mills trilogy to Criterion. So I thought that was so funny that
Yeah.
one of the movies I've really been wanting to have on like a good physical copy is getting the release. I haven't seen 20th Century Women since the first time I saw it, and I remember struggling with that movie a little bit, but people really go to bat for that movie. They really love it, so I think maybe a rewatch of that is due. I think Come On is good. Probably like it's fun. It's a good movie, but it's not like his best. Beginners is a movie that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
It was like a very formative, like I'm getting into movies movie. That's like a really sweet. Have you seen it?
I haven't. The only one I've seen actually is Come On, when it came out, and I was really touched by that film. I liked it a lot.
Dude,
So.
you would eat up Beginners. It
Yeah.
is. It's really good. I think it's really good. I haven't rewatched it in a while, but the last time I watched it, I was just like,
Yeah.
it's a really simple movie, and it's autobiographical a little bit. It's like partially about his dad, and so I think the trilogy is like kind of that one's about his dad. This 20th Century Woman's about his mom, and then I guess the third one's about him raising a kid. So it's kind of like three different perspectives on these things.
Interesting.
I
Gotta tap
hope
in.
I'm not. Yeah, but I'm excited that got a release. But
Yeah.
now that was, I was like, oh, what is a movie that I would love to get a release? And I was going through my letterbox. I was thinking
Yeah.
of
Great
there
question.
was a lot of them that I was like, does this even have a great release? Like I'm not sure. Like I don't know what the Chinatown 4K is looking like if there's one out there or something. But the one I landed on was a movie I saw last year in theaters. And I don't think it has a physical release as far as I'm aware. I can be fully wrong. Let me get his name first, the director, because I don't want to mispronounce it. But it is a movie that I called it out on my best of 2025 video that you guys can watch if you would like. The 1996 Japanese film by Masayuki Suo, Shall We Dance? It is a movie that was playing at the Film Forum and as a restoration. It's actually on Mubi right now. For anyone listening, all three of his movies are on there. I watched the other two recently. It stars one of your guys, actually, Koji Yakusho, who is the lead from Cure.
Yep.
And it is, what a lovely movie. What a sweet and lovely movie. It is about a unhappy middle-aged Japanese accountant who takes up ballroom dancing secretly. And what a joyous, beautiful, wonderful film filled with so many characters. I love the movie's message about, it's never too late to like find meaning in your life. He paints the world with such like fun characters. I love how 90s it feels in the way of like the businesses and the suits they wear and the buildings, and then the dance scenes are really special. It's a really specific kind of funky romance in a way that I appreciate, that it's not like a very straightforward one, but joyous is the best word I can use to describe Shall We Dance, where I was like tearing up at the end. There's like a scene towards the end that really moved me. Applause from the audience when this movie ended. Cheers. That doesn't happen a lot for like a random movie. That's usually for like a rep screening for something that like everyone has already seen and loves, like The Lord of the Rings or something. Like a rapturous applause when this movie ended. It truly was like a special little hidden gem that I feel like there's definitely more out there, but when they come, it's like you got to really appreciate them.
Yeah.
Like a small movie that really just kind of knocks your socks off. Shout out Socks On. Yeah, I would love for that to get a release. I don't think it has a release at all, and I would recommend everyone at least go watch it on Mubi. But I think that'd be a fun one, a movie that has a little less notoriety to it. I love when they do that, give a movie that doesn't get its fair shake a Criterion release. Yeah, I think do you have any more, or are you good?
No, I'm good. I think we could wrap it there.
Yeah, guys, so that was our favorite movies, or some of our favorite movies from Letterboxd. If you want to see more of our lists or what have you, you can check out our Letterboxd down below. We are hopefully going to be posting these every week. We're I don't know when we're releasing this yet. That's a me and Jack discussion for later. But I hope you want to join us on listening and listen to us. Talk about all these movies. We don't know which episode we're going to do next yet, so get excited for that. But hopefully once we have a bit more of a schedule, we'll be able to let you guys know or post that somewhere, maybe on Twitter or X, the everything app.
It's all happening on X.
It's all happening there, where we can let you guys know what the next movie we're going to be covering is. So yeah, stay tuned, and thank you for listening, guys.